like running a marathon with your brain, wasn't it? Getting ready
I
for this show.
my brain is not well, certainly my body's not ready for a marathon, and where I'm at with my mental health, my brain is definitely not as well, but we got here nonetheless.
Hey, it's the holidays. Who's okay now? Again, it's amazing. Hey, we just gotta give a shout out to James, Soaring Profits. He's running the backstage. Miss Sia's out there doing charity and saving the world. We appreciate her. So make sure you
Hey
subscribe and
there.
follow these dudes. Man, absolutely. Thank you, James. Thank you, Pat. They're
Thank you,
Bert and Ernie.
James.
They're a tag team. And if you haven't caught their show, it's Thursdays at 9 Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. And they have the best daggum stories you can find, man. People with inspiration and people who are doing it real time. Not just, oh, I made $1 million a year ago or 10, 20 years ago. Like they're doing it now. I love seeing people build today. Like I want to see the struggles they're going
Hmm.
through. So make sure, guys, 9 p.m. Shameless plug, but well deserved. Showing profits. Appreciate you. Um, Chris, that's you, brother. Hey,
That's
walking
me.
tall is the movement. Tell us about it, Brand.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mike. It's first off, thanks for having us and having me tonight. But yeah, we're a mental health organization designed to inspire approachability and vulnerability. We're working on gaining our 501(c)(3) recognition, amongst many other things. But yeah, we're here just to help. With what happened sadly today and something in Las Vegas and things of that sort. That's exactly what we're founded on. A gentleman named Todd Blyleven sadly was in the worst mass shooting in United States history in 2017. I was in one myself in 22, and through that, we're just trying to let people know they're not alone. So, being a sponsor of a show like this is a great opportunity for us to create awareness, man. So I can't thank you enough.
No, it's my pleasure, man. I know, like, we didn't do a whole. We saw it. We were fortunate. Me and Sia and Raquel, we were fortunate to see you when you were just starting off, and all this was very new, and you're new to social. And man, we were in the right place at the right time. And it didn't take long because now you guys are like that little brush fire turned into a raging forest fire of goodness, dude. So like, it's just so amazing to see you guys catch on, connecting people, man. That's what it's about. And
Yeah,
hey, Scott McGregor. See, again, other great, amazing groups and people and communities like the Outliers saw it, and they said, "Yeah, that's my tribe." Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, man. So, and Dr. Alexandria Rosa, pleasure seating you. Man, there's so many great folks, new
I know. Look at
folks.
this. Look at the turnout.
Gosh,
Well, they're not here
it's
for me. They're
amazing.
here
It's
for
you.
you. They must be here for the ladies backstage. I know better. That's it. Don't give ourselves too much credit. We got a few more sponsors though. Let's get to them.
Yeah, yeah. Let's roll it. Go ahead, James. I mean, we're off script, but
Well, there's
this,
the
like I said,
beautiful
this ain't
Sia. She's not
NBC.
with us tonight, but
Well, hashtag walk tall. We just covered that one.
we
So
sure did.
Sia, like I said, she's out there doing good stuff in the community, and man, she makes this happen. Brilliant Beam Media. Brilliant Beam is her company. She runs this. She runs all the Hounds productions, graphics, digital media. That's the go-to. So brilliantbeammedia.com. Well deserved, man. I would be on an etch a sketch with crappy Wi-Fi in my deer stand right now if it wasn't for Brilliant Beam Media, y'all. So y'all understand that. Hey, hey, I shouted out. Yes, that
I
woman
love
saved
it.
my and again, if she wasn't here, we wouldn't be here.
That's
Chris, if
true.
we if I got everything I wanted in life when I wanted it, none of y'all be here. So think about that. We'll talk about it soon. When you struggle and go through hell, there's a reason for it. Like I'm glad I didn't get off. I'm glad I went through crap for 2 years because now I'm surrounded by you folks. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Like I didn't
No,
know
we'll
that at
talk
the
more
time.
about that. We'll talk more about that in a bit. There's a
Yeah.
great debate to be had, I think. But listen, we're fortunate, the two of us and anybody else that we've run into through the Hounds or Walking Tall or any the Outlier Project, any of those other great teams, if you will, or organizations. LinkedIn is a great place to meet people who have similar interests.
Hey, and thank you for the grace. By the way, people in the comments, oh, Rena Freeman Watts, oh my gosh, it's like Christmas to me, y'all. Thank goodness. Hey, Mike King Biz, give big shout out to Sia calls him King Mike. I don't disagree with that. The man is all heart. He's beloved by all of Virginia, and man, he is becoming loved by all. The man is just pushes up people, does the right thing, man. He gets in the community, and gosh, he's the reason we have our radio show, Business Bets and Buddies. Man, we record on Tuesday, which was awesome, by the
Hmm.
way. All right. So it's Dr. CJ and the Soaring Prophets. That was fantastic. Loved it. And Mike King, man, we appreciate you. Again,
Heck yeah,
all
we do.
boats rise. Yeah, I mean, good-hearted people wanna work with good-hearted people, man, that's all it is, and we find a way to do it, so, man, all these folks, Kenny D, good lord, look, oh
Look
my
at
gosh,
who's all,
so
yeah.
I can't handle it, so I think we're good. Oh, show me the picture, go ahead and throw the picture, we'll roll the intro, we're actually doing way faster than me and Sia do, so we're doing good time.
We're men
So I
of
have
many
to
words, Mike. You know.
Oh man, I'm pumped, dude. Hounds 2.0 is in the making. It's just I'm like a poor kid waking up in Santa's workshop every day, man. Honestly, I can't think. There she is. Look at Sia. She's everywhere. She's like Santa. She's there. She's here. All right. So I walked in the house and I couldn't figure this out. This was a mystery. So I walked in and my daughter was there, and my older daughter put the elves, right? Elf on the shelf, right? So this happens about 9 months out of the year. So I'm about sick of it anyway. All right. So they come back out,
Wait,
and
time out.
so I
The
walk
elf is in
over.
your house for 9 months of the year.
They're yeah, dude, they're in the cat box. It's ridiculous. It really is
Okay.
ridiculous.
All right.
So this setup, and I don't know if my daughter saw this. I don't think she did. She just woke up. So I walked by and turned the coffee pot on and left. When I came back, I said, "Did you make coffee?" She's 4 years old. She's like, "No, I didn't make coffee. I'm four." Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, who did it?" Dude, she was blown away. She's like, "Did that really happen?" And by the way, here's some creepy stuff. My wife and I were sitting on the couch watching TV for an hour. All of a sudden, a note falls off the bookshelf. There's an elf right there by the
Mm-hmm.
where it fell off. So we're grown adults going, "No, that elf really
You
didn't
got the
knock that
Christmas
paper off,
spirit
did
now,
it?"
my man. That's it. You believe in
Oh,
Santa. That's
dude,
the elf on the shelf. First off, your daughter is adorable, by the way.
thank you.
I think we've
Congrats.
talked behind the scenes. I have two beautiful children myself. I haven't quite gotten to the point, nor probably will I ever, of sharing their faces on social media. It's just a personal preference. Luckily, they don't look like me, so I assure you they're adorable. But man, I could tell you there's many friends we've commiserated together over the last week or two about this damn elf on the shelf. And to have it for 1 month is a burden in itself. To hear you have it for like 9, I don't know how. No wonder why you wear that hat, man. You got to pull whatever hair you have left out, trying to work with this dang thing.
It's no wonder I'm crazy, right? Like,
Yeah, you
Carlos
said
is in
it.
my cereal box at, daggum Halloween and stuff. I'm like, "Come on." And that's the elf's
Yeah.
name, Carlos, one of them. We got
Oh,
like
you
60
named
of them.
it
All right.
too. I think ours is
I didn't
Elfie.
name
I
it.
think real creative.
Yeah, no, we got Carlos and Olivia, and it's ridiculous. So, all right, let's get the party started. James, behind the scenes, like Wizard of Oz, let's roll the intro. I can't wait.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashebrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
All right, all right.
Long time no see.
Last time you allowed me to join this awesome show, I had my boonie hat on like you did, but today I had to represent my favorite band. So sorry about that. I should have grabbed mine too, Mike. But I know there's some other folks we want to welcome from backstage. People are probably tired of hearing us.
We got Nicole. We got
Oh,
Nicole
that's
first, and
right.
then we
Yeah,
got to go.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, she's
Nicole,
won.
that's Dr. New. We'll just bring Nicole
Oh,
out for now. There
there
Oh
she
she
my
is.
goodness.
is.
I would
Nick.
completely share the stage with Dr. New anytime. Oh,
Oh, ain't she wonderful? Yeah.
yeah,
How
she
are you today?
is. How are you guys?
Hello, hello. Well,
So tell
Nicole, yeah,
us now.
yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I got a bad delay, and I talk too much anyway. So this book, this is why I knew I was too busy, and I had to go and like figure out like to not be so busy because I don't read
Mm-hmm.
books. You know that, right? I have somebody read them to me or something. But when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, dude, I can't miss this. This is about legacy and a note to your family." This was the most compelling thing, and I started reading it, and it's hard not to tear up in the first 2 pages, all right? So, if you really wanna be struck by all heart and just inspiration, wow, all right? So, how tell us about it. How did this come about? Where did you get the inspiration? Like, where was this? Where did this come from?
Okay, well, let's backtrack and just start here. To be able to do anything in this life, you need to have an opportunity. And yes, this is a shameless plug for the Hounds of Business community and Mike Ashabrana. I joined the Hounds at the end of January. Come Valentine's, I'm on a live show, my very first, with America's Super mom of 15 kids, is it?
Dang.
And backstage, I meet a publisher who invites me to author in a book, my very first. And from there, I ended up publishing in 3 this year. All of them went to bestsellers. So at the end of this year, my dream was to end it as a publisher. And from the very beginning, meeting that person over there in the camo hat, fast forward to almost a year, and here I am. A book published on
Yeah, Nicole, like
the first.
it's so inspiring, to hear. Not only are you an author and now publishing books, but you're also extremely vulnerable in telling your story, which is part of who you are as a person and why I came to love you. So, if you don't mind, like talk about how, your own struggles and your own hurdles led you to do all of this amazing writing as the gifted bipolar writer.
It's actually a great question, because when I met Mike, I had just fallen the end of December last year and broke my left knee in 4 places. So I had a couple of plates and a bunch of screws in there. I mean, couldn't walk for about 3 months. And tomorrow, incidentally, is that 1 year anniversary. So I wonder how I'm going to feel tomorrow when I walk into work. I'm going to stay out of the hole of doom where I actually fell, decorated
Yes.
for Christmas, mind you. And, I guess things could have gone pretty south, especially with my bipolarness and my depression. I kind of just threw myself into my community on LinkedIn, and I'm very big about putting myself out there just as I am, take it or leave it. And it's not meant to be an offensive thing. Finding the
No, it's
right
who you are,
community.
right? And it's who I think together we can inspire others to be. And, you have your own show on Sunday mornings as well, Never in Control, I think. And, everything you're doing, through creating awareness. And, I had the honor of introducing you to a good friend of ours now, Andrew DeGood, and if he's out there, shout out to him. I love him. But everything you're doing to create awareness and just inspire others to be their authentic selves, whether it's now as an author, publisher, radio, LinkedIn Live host, it's just so inspiring. And, I can't encourage you to keep doing it enough. And you mentioned just diving into your community on LinkedIn. You also have a bunch of co-authors for this book. So how did that process go quickly? Yeah.
Amazing, because without my sisters, CJ, Dr. Constance Leland, Susanna Dawn, and Christine Jones, this would not be happening. These girls I met through Mike as well. And if I thought this was not possible, they made sure that it was. And that's just the kind of people that we roll with. And just to say that I had a fabulous day in work. Yes, I do work for Island Elevator, but I came home to this.
Whoop, whoop. Look at that. The hard copy.
So this is the proof book. And tonight I will hit publish. And very soon this paperback is going to be available. And these amazing people back here, and quite a number of them are Hounds, by the way.
Yeah.
Share their legacy. And they put their lives out there, and their adversities and their struggles and all the amazing lessons they're learning, so that the now and the future would have a piece of who they are. This book means everything to me.
Yeah.
The vision for
well,
this
it's your
book,
legacy, Nicole. It's your legacy, and you've also shared it with others and gave them the opportunity to share what they want their legacy to be as well. And I know we got to get on to our other guests, but before we do, please let those watching or listening know where they can support you and buy the book. support your other co-authors. Obviously, I think it's available on Amazon. So please plug yourself and how others can help uplift you.
Okay, so just jump on to Amazon and or check any of my posts. You'll see the link there. We did sell in 7 countries, and we are beyond ecstatic. Some of these people are first-time writers, and they're now international bestsellers. And everything's opening up in 2024. January will be the spin-off to the Nick Never in Control live show produced by Aaron Gibson.
Amazing, amazing. All right, well, Mike.
Yeah, great,
Thank you
great
guys
stuff.
so much.
Hang on, real quick. Don't go nowhere. Hey, I love you. I honestly, you gave, and people, you say this all the time. Well, I didn't do much for you. Let me tell you something. Yeah, it's easy to measure the things that I do for people and help, like, get a book and move forward. But you guys do stuff for me that's not measurable, man. You push me. How do you put a measure on confidence and belief and affirmation and support, man? That made it possible for me to put my stupid hat on, try to be myself, and realize that people will like it. People will see the good behind it, right? And they'll care about it. So thank you for that, because I had not that much confidence when I met you, and you were one of the many inspirational people. Sia, Raquel, there's Becky, there's Jody, there's countless people from the core beginning that has pushed me up. So I wanted to say sincerely, thank you for that, because you've helped
You're
me. I
welcome.
would say more than you've helped, yeah, than I've helped you. So thank you.
Very, very welcome, Mike. You extend a hand, and I extended mine, and we shook. And that's it. That's the way it goes. Thanks so much, guys.
And
I
I love it.
appreciate the time
Thank
today.
you. Bye, Nicole.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, and by the way,
Bye-bye.
Chris, she said to me, she said, I said, what do you really want? And she said, well, I might want to write. I really like to write. And maybe, I don't know, maybe get paid for it one day. And she didn't take no time coming into the Hounds and like a pit bull and a house full of cats making things happen, dude. I'm so happy and motivated. And all these folks coming in and doing this, dude. It's not, I started it because I ain't had no friends about a year and a half ago, right? But now you guys make it what it is, man. So I just, again, I'm just beyond elated right now, man. Y'all are great
No,
people. So
it's a great
Chris,
opportunity for anybody out there too, who's looking for a community to help uplift whatever passion project or business they're creating or have created. Definitely, I know there's opportunities and lunch and learns or whatever the heck you call them once a month. But speaking of Hounds, we got a couple other waiting backstage. We got to get to them too.
yeah, and by the way, if you want to learn about the Hounds, man, you can message me, but you can message Chris, you can message, there's tons of Hounds, man. Let each other be known, talk to them, strike up a convo. We want people to be happy and to be unstuck. That's it, man. You're nothing's wrong with you. You just need to be around supportive people, and you got this. So, Chris, hey, you're the guy. This is mental health. This is about healing. You take it from here. I'm gonna, because I say enough. So you take it, brother. I'm gonna
All right.
participate.
Oh man, no pressure, right? I got some
Got it.
experts, in the room now, so I have to mind my P's and Q's. But yeah, Mike, thanks so much for letting me lead tonight's conversation, and I'm just so blessed to have gotten to know both of our other guests tonight, Elia Meltzer and Dr. Nhu Truong. I want to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, but Dr. Truong, before I let you take the stage, I got to ask you, what is a mindfulness pharmacist? And what are you doing on tonight's show? So please introduce yourself to all of our listeners.
Thank you, Chris and Mike and all the amazing Hounds and all the people that are listening to us right now. Just really want to express my gratitude, my honor, and how grateful and blessed I am for the opportunities. And really just to share, who I am, and really not about the title, and just want to spread more love and kindness and compassion through things that I have already seen in the industry of how the system makes someone either numb to the systems. So I want to kind of a gentle reminder on how when we're coming into a healthcare setting to really help patients and help our communities to really take care like if it's our family, right? when we handle a treatment or a medications to our patients, think of it as not just another patients that are sick or ill or dying, but if we care with a heart, like if it's our brother and sisters and our grandmother, our child, or niece and nephew, if we really have that sincerity and really hone in to not only our skills, our knowledge, but also be grateful that we are in position to be able to help, but also pass on that extra human kindness that I think that sometimes we lack because of the system either push too hard on the metrics and the qualities, that X amount of patient you're being seen and you don't have that time, but then we lose some people just lose that and become really lose track of who they are. And I think that's the sad, because then not only it hurts the patients in the end, and
Sure.
whatever we give and serve, it can be a poison, if even if it's the antidote of whatever treatment. But if it's with love and kindness, it will be turning to a beautiful, um, successful treatment. But if you have this nonchalant of whatever, I'm just here for a paycheck, I'm here just because I'm fed up with the system, and you don't like whatever the setting, and you become really numb and not really care, that extra energy that you put in will become poison. And I really want people to really see, because not only we are prone to looking at data, scientific data, and a lot of things, but a lot of things we have to look at treatment is not just a pill for an ill, a little band-aid slapping on whatever they have, but treating someone as a whole, holistic
Yeah.
mind, body, and soul, and spiritual. And I think mental health to me, it hit on the heart for me also on
No,
that,
you
Chris.
said it so beautifully, and so much of what you said and is why I love whom you are, and who you show up as daily on LinkedIn, or anywhere else in life for that matter. But talking about poison, and I consider poison in the world to be hate, and the antidote, as you said, or the cure to that is love. And there really is no way to measure the impact, as I like to say, leading with love has in the world, right? There's no data, there's no metric, there's no KPI, none of the stuff in business that we have to focus on in certain ways to make money, if you will. But leading with love is the way, frankly, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But before we do, I want to get to our other guest, Miss Elia Meltzer. And I was so fortunate to run into Elia on LinkedIn as well. And anytime I see somebody making themselves vulnerable, as I kind of brand myself, what is it, the most approachable and vulnerable dude on LinkedIn. If I see somebody else following suit, I got to get to know them, and we'll get to know Elia and Chardom as well. But please take the stage, Elia. Tell folks who you are, why you're here, and then we'll get on to thriving or surviving.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elia. I am a mental health patient. I have depression, anxiety, PTSD, PMDD, and panic disorder. It's a lot. I do not recommend it. So if you have any of those disorders yourself, I'm sorry. It sucks. And I know it does, because I have survived suicide and I have survived self-harming behavior. And that's why I do the work that I do. In fact, I currently have my semicolon hoodie right now because I am a survivor of suicide. So this is some of the merch that I've made. I created a company called Chardom because I needed a tool, a resource, in order to help me track my mental health, in order to help me understand myself better and talk to my doctors more efficiently about my problems. There wasn't one on the market. Trust me, I looked on Amazon, I looked on Etsy, I looked all over Google, and there wasn't anything that I liked, that I would find useful, that I would access every day. So I made my own. And so if any of you follow me on LinkedIn or on pretty much any other social media, you will see my posts about my stories and about the product and how it saved my life. I wanted to take this time to announce to the Hounds community and to the community beyond the Hounds that Chardom is actually dying and is being rebranded into True Self-Care. So official launch is coming January
Congrats.
1st.
I love it.
But we are relaunching to True Self-Care. We are trying to share our true stories and our true selves online, showing that like it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say that you have mental health and mental illness. It's part of everyday life. In fact, 20% of the country has mental health and mental illness. I shared that fact a few weeks ago. So if you guys want statistics, if you guys want parts of my story, please follow me on LinkedIn and check out my website to get your very own mental health planner, something that can help guide you to be the person that you want to be, become your true self, and learn how to care for yourself, learn how to be the person that you want to be.
It's truly inspiring, and, I met you through Chris, right? And
Yes,
then it was a great fit, and you're I love that. It's like, okay, someone finally gets to the point where they need help, and they're willing to be vulnerable and seek out help and say, "I need help." And they're expected to know how to communicate that, right? Like, it
yeah,
really like, I've been there, depression and things, and it's like, "Well, what's wrong?" Well, if I knew that, I'd probably be on the way to fixing it. Like, that's why I came here.
exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, again, permission to be open, right? That's Chris, that's walking tall. Hey, don't have to hide it, don't stuff it down, that makes it worse. That's the problem. And then you come along, it's like, hey, when someone finally wants some treatment, wants some help, support, now what? And it went hand in
Exactly.
glove. And then you got Dr. New, who is just the nicest person on planet Earth, who says, "Look, it's not enough to care. I want to do more for people. I want to know what's inside of them. Like I want to make sure they're getting well as a person, not just of illness." And man, this is why I couldn't wait for this Power Pack panel, guys. I love all you amazing hearts. You stand for what the Hounds is. And so, hey, Chris, rock and roll, brother.
All right. Yeah, no, thanks, Mike. It's exactly, what the benefit of the Hounds has proven to all of us, right? Like you said, hand in glove and finding people with common interests and being able to collaborate or ideate to promote mental well-being or whatever it is you're inspired by. But we got tasked to talk a little bit about thriving in with through our wellness, if you will, with the right mindset, right? And so I think before we get going on that conversation, I think it's always wise and proper to establish, a baseline of what thriving is. And so I found the definition to be to grow, develop, succeed. It is to prosper, to flourish, or to be your best self. And I think that's so loaded. And as Dr. New, you were talking earlier about systems and expectations of society and things of that sort. Like, is it even possible to thrive with all of these pressures we have upon ourselves? Whether we have trauma or not, just to succeed by other standards, let alone our own. So I want to give it to you first. When you think of thriving, how do we, with our mental well-being or our mental health, get to a point where we're feeling good about ourselves and not worrying about what those standards or systems do to us?
Yeah, it's well something based on my experience and and you know my stories, Chris. But I think one of the thing when you're talking about society and different expectations and systems, and a lot of labels and things that they put it upon, and it's the stigmas and things. But really, I want to kind of a call out so that way people know that whatever noises there are, and there will be a lot of noises, but it's ultimately how we filter, right? How we turn that negative emotions and negative triggers that into a positive, because that is how we deal with and coming back with like a loving kindness and prayers for those who are not in that moment and not able to be mindful of their thoughts and their speech and their action that led them to a an action that are the consequences that will bite them, right? Because in the end, the laws of the cause and effect of the universe will come back, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think those are the things that we don't see because we don't look in as a 30,000 feet up higher on a divine, on someone that looking at it as a whole picture on a journey. You don't see that, so we only see a little snippet of that person or that individual or organizations. So sometimes we look at it, we think of life is too fair, unfair, right? why this so and so happens, why this and that. So some of the things I think that we can be in control is what can we do now, and don't kind of frown upon the past and the future. And that is how, like, meditation in a mindfulness in a way is just philosophy of, if we hone into being grateful, what are you grateful for now in this moment? And what are
Well,
you
no, I want to just
surrounded
stop.
with?
If I can ask, because you said something before we get too far away from it that I think, would benefit our listeners and certainly me, cause and effect, right? We talked about earlier, and you mentioned, systems and societal standards. And Elia, I would love to get your perspective, because, you mentioned and made yourself vulnerable today. Thank you for sharing your story of suicide ideation, attempts, etc. And before I let you speak, I want to just say, first off, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you were not
Glad to be
successful.
here.
The world is a better place for you being here, and your story is inspiring others to not get to where you were. So you should know that first and foremost. But what I want to ask you is not why or how or anything of that sort. What place did societal standards? What place did others' expectation of what thriving looks like do to you that maybe got you to that point?
That's a loaded question.
I'm good at them, by the way. It's not the first time you've met me, so you shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Society expects you to be okay. And 20% of us aren't. Society expects us to have a job, to have an income, to do well in school, to have a brain that works a very specific way for our education system, so that way we can thrive in education and then theoretically thrive in the workplace. So there's very strict boundaries, and most of us do not fit in that little square that society has created for us. Now I'm talking about school because I'm 23 years old. And I kind of
present yourself so much more elderly in professionalism and experience. So that's a compliment. Yeah, 23, no way.
I have a baby face, so like people
you
are
look
like
12. So
yeah, I'm like 12 and 30 at the same time, apparently, which is totally fine.
I love it.
But yes, just like high school was not all that long ago for me. University was 2022. So not that long ago either. So that's what I'm talking about. And society expects us to fit in these molds, and we can't, and I certainly didn't. Society expected me to thrive, to be okay, to be successful in these molds. And I would say that society puts an enormous amount of pressure on us in order to fit, to be the ideal kind of person with the ideal kind of life, with an ideal kind of or set kind of success. Most of us don't have those criteria, or the pressure that we put on ourselves to meet those criteria is enormous.
It's so funny you say that, like, because hearing your story, and it's never a comparison, but as I try to think, what can I learn in my experience through your story, right? And you mentioned, like, most of people don't fit into these boxes, and I hate to say it, prior to my experience, I was kind of one of those people who fit into one of those boxes. I kind of thrived and bobbed along and met others' expectations of me, and met my own expectations of myself. And then you have some sort of trauma occur in some sense, and so then those expectations flip on you very quickly, and it's harming. And I want to get to a few other things here, but one thing, and I wanted to use a quote to kind of not wrap this point in the conversation up, but just to express how damaging it could be, right? And so Jillian Michaels, I think she's the fitness expert, that lady who sells DVDs or whatever. I don't know her very well, but her quote on thriving is, "Thriving, that's fighting. Surviving is barely getting by." And, to me, I think that's so harming, because whose standards is thriving, right? And as far as I'm concerned, whether I'm with my mental health or either you, Elia, or Mike, or whomever, just the fact that we're here could be thriving in so many ways. and it's so trivializing to the work that has to be done when you're struggling. And so I don't know, Dr. Nhu, when you hear a quote like that, what comes to mind, or what resonates for you, through your work and your expertise?
Wow, it's uh I would say that it's really perspective and what our definition of thriving, and it's really, uh, are we making progress? I guess the version of us today versus yesterday, and then how are we thriving tomorrow? And dealing with mental health, it's how do we deal with our emotions, right? When we have triggers. And I think that is where, for me, as I see the, not only medications on some time, but also the things that we can control once we get there. It's, you have the power to control it, but then it's a journey that is not easy. It's not like a one night success, right? Because I've gone through my own journey and my own mental issue, that I can see why someone will push you to the wall, to the point that you can see why someone will flip, either harming themselves because either, they're fed up with how they're being treated less than a human. And in humanity, in a healthcare space, versus someone flipping to say, you know what, I'm tired. So then that's where the harming to others. So when I see that moment, and I can see myself saying, it's either one, which path do I choose? And that is where, when we thrive, when we're able to hone into ourselves and be able to flip, making a negative and turn that and make that as like your fire, that
Hmm.
you are willing to do things bigger than yourself, having a purpose to be the voice for others who are stuck, or
No, you're right.
the
And the
issue.
purpose, like the purpose you have, and the purpose you live on a daily basis, whether it's on LinkedIn or offline in real life, whatever, you want to call it, is just so inspiring. And the work you do, Dr. Nhu, to uplift others and inspire that wellness and the mindfulness, is so needed. And Mike, it's your show, man. We've been taking over. I want to hear what you have to say. You have a wealth of lived experiences and knowledge on this space, so have at it, man.
Yeah, no, that's why the viewership's still sky high, because I've been over here eating a Snickers, listening, taking notes. I love this because, you guys are grassroots, man. You're not, you're just, look, I struggled and I'm helping others. So here's what I want to ask, because my experience today was insane. I got on the phone with somebody just to chit chat, just to catch up, and something was said. One of those things that somebody just has to go first, and they mentioned something very personal to themselves, and then know that I related to it. Right? So they had a problem. They try to keep it to themselves, and I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I've been through that 8 years ago.
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, then it was a 2 hour long discussion. This person dumped out like a floodgate of stuff. Right? I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not Dr. Phil or anything, but they didn't need Dr. Phil. They just needed somebody they could relate to, the safe zone, just to say, hey. And it was the most enlightening conversation. I had to move 2 appointments, but what is your take on this? So because I think, like I said before, we forget that we go through this crap. So other people, just like Elia and all of you guys do, so you can help other people not do it. That was why I started the house. I'm like, dude, if it was this hard to make friends, how hard is it for other people to do it? Right. And I wanted to give back and teach people what I've learned. So what is your experiences, guys? Yeah, Elia can't wait. What is your experience in doing that? And while you're still going and
Yeah.
helping yourself and you're sharing, like, tell us about it.
Well, I think it's important to understand masking, because masking and thriving look very similar, but on the inside, what you're actually going through is so very different. So like you could, being okay versus saying that you're okay when being asked is very very different. So That's why on my LinkedIn, I'm so very vulnerable about the reality of mental health and mental illness, because masking and just saying you're okay and pretending that everything's all right is so normal, because none of us want to admit that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. You're human. It's okay not to be okay. But we live in a society where, for some reason, it's not okay to not be okay, and that, in my personal opinion, that's stupid, for a lack of better words. But
I know,
masking is
Elia,
really
it's so funny you
important.
say, because, masking in the way you call it, I have a lived experience where I did that for 10 months to my own detriment, right? I
Yeah,
attempted to still fit into that box, as you called it, or that standard, while I was suffering silently, to the point of it really impacting me physically. And then I had a breakdown, and I had no choice but to throw in the towel and give up control and ask for help, right? And through
yeah,
that's ultimately where we started walking tall. But I don't want to harp too much on the thriving, because ultimately what really kind of pissed me off about Jillian Michaels' quote, is, when she says thriving, that's fighting, surviving is barely getting by. And I can tell you three ultimately that there have been times where I've been fighting my ass off just to survive, and to think that that's not a fight just to exist, or to, and again, I haven't been struggling such that I had a hard time getting out of bed at times, but it's hard to be motivated, right? And that's a fight in itself. And so to live in other people's standards and to have folks of her stature make quotes like that really, really rubbed me the wrong way, frankly, but who the hell am I, right? But what I do want to say, there's a quote that I really appreciated when it comes to surviving, if I may. And if you guys don't know, or anybody else listening doesn't know, Dr. Glenn Patrick Doyle is somebody I think is really great when it comes to mental health or mindfulness, well-being, whatever the case may be. And he says, we're not ourselves when triggered. We become who we think we need to be to survive. And when we're constantly being triggered, our identity can start to slip away, because our personality and values are constantly getting hijacked by fight or flight reflexes. And when I say that, that quote really means a lot to me, is because when you're in survival mode, it's hard to physically or even mentally thrive based on societal standards. And it has to be
oh,
acknowledged
absolutely.
more, And so, Mike, I see you shaking your head over there. Why don't you have at it a little bit? I know you've been through some struggles, and, the thriving component to me should be really held in high regard. Or excuse me, the surviving component, not thriving, in my opinion. But I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And real short, because, first responders comes to mind, right? The people who took on the challenge. I was a firefighter for 8 years. So we're supposed to have this persona of toughness and all that stuff. But you can only see catastrophe and awful things, right? And death and all this stuff for a little while. And it was never back in my day, and I came in 1999. So it was still kind of machismo field. And that was a problem, because you don't talk to your buddies about it because we're all tough, right? And all this stuff. And that's what it kind of reminds me of is somebody has to change it, right? Somebody said the blind can't lead the blind unless somebody plays the dog, right? So I remember one guy that used to open up about it, and we all laughed
You
at him and
always
stuff.
got something.
Yeah, it was good. But in hindsight, like, that's a courageous guy. Like, we were the bunch of
Mhm.
donkeys, right? It's like that guy was he was ahead of his time in that regard. And so my only
Think
thoughts
about
is,
go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. I'm just saying that it was we got to change the definition of what tough means. Because honestly, tough to like, what's tougher? Being grumpy to your family all day because you're not addressing an issue and treating people poorly? Or is tough you saying, hey, yeah, sometimes I cry at night. Let me seek some help and become a better person? I think if we redefine that, and I think
Oh
that's what your
gosh.
movement is pretty much about, is hey, I'm a tough guy. I fight fire for free. I'm an expert marks. It, Tough is trying to be better. That's the real mark
Hmm.
of, growth and maturity, man. Or if you
Well,
want to be
think about this.
machismo about it,
Think about how confusing it is for four of us, or anybody else for that matter. Jillian Michaels sits there and talks about surviving as if it's a slap in the face. Yet when you're a survivor of abuse, or a mass shooting, you're held in high regard. So think about the juxtaposition there of what the hell does a survival even mean at this point, right? And whose definitions do we have to live by? And I want to get to, that a little bit, Dr. Nhu, talking about what's survival compared to self-love. I'm learning along my own journey how to survive and through that thrive by loving myself first and foremost. And I think we forget that too often. I want listeners for the last 15 minutes or so to take some pointers away that they can walk away with saying, hey, that hour was spent really, really, really well. And I'd come back next week. So please get us kicked off.
There's so much that we can
I told you I'm good at loaded questions. You could go any way you want. Let's go pivot.
But I think to make use is really through so much of what we all go through, and the things that I want to also give power back to all of us is that don't give people the power too much, right? Meaning to put in boxes, to put as labels, to put things. But when which is your like a reflection, a pause. Like sometimes because when we're too fast and we're just in a go to forget about it. And I've been there to try to hide the trauma and things, and we just keep going until we have either health issue or a trauma incident that will knock you down. But I want to really urge to not get there to the point that is uncontrollable, to the point that you lose control of yourself, to really have time for yourself, and you have the control of your mind. Because when you are in control of your mind, it doesn't matter what people say. When you have you knowing that what you've done is your best ability to whatever the circumstances is, and no judgment to comparison to versus another person or another situations. All of your experiences are real and they're validated, but then knowing that you're not alone, right? There's others around that talk, that are not only be there for you, be listening to you and walk tall with you, like the walking tall movement, right? And I think that the really, really
You see how she
fundamental
did that
things
there, Mike? That was so natural, wasn't it? Just rolled off the tongue, didn't it?
that really,
And Dr. Nhu, I hate to be funny, but what you're saying is so true, right? Like we need tools to help promote self-love. We need tools to help
Absolutely.
advocate for ourselves. And Elia, that's exactly, what you created.
Yes.
And I want to hear a little bit about how you, through your journey, learned to value yourself differently, so much so that you put to action your creativity and your ability to build a business as a young entrepreneur through I'll call it Chardom. I forgot the new name already. I'm sorry.
It's in my name. It's True Self-Care.
All right, True
without
Self-Care. I have to get it right next time. You could yell at me off stage. But honestly, how did you come to love yourself so much that, you put pen to paper, you started charting your own mental health, you weren't allowing yourself to have suicidal ideation, et cetera? Like, talk about that journey. That's so inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically answering your question is answering the title of this live stream, Thrive with the Right Mindset. What is the right mindset? All of us come to a turning point where we have a make or break moment. I came to an extreme one. And my extreme pivotal moment was either I die or I suck it up and I tell people what's actually going on and how bad the situation actually is. And now I have no idea how many times I've half-heartedly attempted suicide. I would say it's probably like more than like 50 times. Like there was one point like where I was like trying to strangle myself every single night for like a summer, and my parents have no idea. So hopefully they're not watching.
Well, no,
but
I hope
that's
they
the
are,
reality of
because
mental health and mental illness.
But I'm
It's like
just saying,
it's
I hope
so
they are
bad.
watching, because they should know, and I'm sure they already know how strong you are through the work you're doing.
But I was
like,
masking so well. The point being is that I had that pivotal moment. I had that moment where it's like, listen, I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of feeling this terrible where in order to feel something else, I am carving into my body. I am landing myself in the hospital because I'm bleeding through my shirts. Like, that was my reality in high school. I was like 16, 17 years old at Akron Children's Hospital in Northeast Ohio. And so there's that pivotal moment. And I decided that at the end of the day, I didn't want to die. I wanted to exist differently. I wanted to exist without the pain. And so therefore I gave life a shot. I said, you know what? I need to tell people the truth about the severity of my situation. And that's why I came clean to my doctors. This is how bad it is. This is how often I'm experiencing things. I came clean to my parents. This is how often I feel suicidal. This is how often I think about self-harm. This is how often I cry myself to sleep. And those are extreme symptoms. But my situation was an extreme situation.
Yeah, no, listen, you said something
So
perfect.
the right mindset is putting yourself first, saying that I've had enough. I'm going to do what it takes in order to get to where I want to be. And for me, that was coming clean to my doctors. And so therefore, because I said, you know what, I need to put myself first. I need to share. I need to understand myself so I can get to where I need to go, right? I use the map analogy a lot.
Yeah, but no, real quick, Elia, you know, we're running short on time here, and we can go on for hours. And so I want to just make sure that, you know, no, that's okay. Listen, again, there's so much to say, and all of us, you know, me least of all, have great wisdom in this space. But, you know, what I want to say is you said a term, you know, I came clean. And we met with Nicole earlier in this show, and we referenced Andrew DeGood, and he talks about his bipolar too, and he talks about coming out, right? And these types of terminologies, coming clean, we think about with addiction or things of that nature. Coming out, we think of the LGBTQI community, you know, the community that has had to hide their true identity for so long. But when it comes to mental health, there's a lot of relevant statements, you know. And for me, you know, coming to terms with not having to be who I always was, right? There's a lot of pressures when you have incidents happen. And Mike, you referenced our first responders, right? Think about that machismo, that lack of vulnerability in their community, whether you're firefighters or police officers or military veterans, the list goes on and on. But finding the opportunity to have relatable story sharing is so important. And that's why I think peer support, first and foremost, is a great opportunity for folks to get that vulnerability bone or that vulnerability muscle strengthened. And I know you, Dr. Nhu, are really big into, you know, sharing stories and letting folks they're not alone. So as we start to wrap up, you know, let folks know who you are, how they can work with you, all the good things you're doing in the world, and you know, we'll move on about our night.
Before we do that, I like to share. I don't know if those are listening in the panel here, if you use the method of you know, deep breathing, and this method is not breathing through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, but it's inhaling deep breath, right, through the nose and exhale out through the nose. So when you do meditations, your palm on your right hand need to be on top of your left hand, right? And you put it like this. That gives you the energy of the positivity, and that's one that I want, like those who are wanting to practice, is right hand on top of left hand, right? Always. And then when you sit up straight, your right legs always on top. If you do lotus or not, but right legs always on top. And then when you do deep breath, just do a deep breath. Fill up your lungs wherever your target, but through the nose and out of the nose. When you inhale, think of gratitude, all the positive that's coming through you, all the wish and abundance and things that are in your life. All the negative is when you exhale. All the things that are your worries is where you exhale it out. And then wherever you have tensions, wherever your body, focus that tensions on wherever you're at. and use that when you do breathing in and out, but you visualize that area of pain. And wherever you can do it walking meditations with the deep breathing, or you can do it sitting. But applying the gratitude and the deep breathing wherever you have anxiety, any kind of, you know, really stressful, the deep breathing will triggers the parasympathetic, right? The parasympathetic is like your rest and digest state. So it promote you to have a relaxation. It, lessen your stress level and will counteract the effects of like a sympathetic of your flight or flight when you're in a
Dr. Nhu,
danger
you're
zone.
giving way too much information at the end of the show. Like I said, I want first off, your meditation and your breathing is going to put me to sleep. I'm having struggles sleeping as of late, so I got to get off this call and get to bed. But please let folks know who you are, where they can find you, like all the good stuff, how they can work with you, promote yourself as we wrap up.
Well, they can always reach out to me or in the Hounds or on the LinkedIn. But thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you, Chris and Mike and Elia and everyone. Thank you.
Yes, Elia, you're up. Let folks know where they could find your website, your merchandise, your amazing products, you on LinkedIn and any other platforms. I want to just say, being an old crow, as I call myself, right? Like I'm like the old creepy uncle now at this point. Someone of your age, and I'm not stereotyping. You're an inspiration to so many, and I wish that we can uplift you particularly, and I hope others out there will help me doing the same, because our young folks in our community, whether it's teenagers or young college, they need to see folks like you. So. I want to just commend you and say you've inspired me tonight. You've just been so educated, so astute, and so inspiring. So with that said, please let folks know where they can help you out as well.
Thank you, Chris. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. So please follow Elia Meltzer. I don't know where my name is on here. On LinkedIn, please find me, reach out to me, click the bell so that way you get notified whenever I post. Probably will break your heart, but that's fine. It needs to happen sometimes. The other place to find me and to interact with me is on TikTok. I know that you guys might not have TikTok. Get TikTok, and then
now you're stereotyping. You see that, how she did that? Like I was trying to be so kind earlier. I'm not stereotyping, Elia. You're young, but you're amazing. And now she's like, well, Chris, you're 41. You don't have TikTok. Well, you're gonna have to educate me on how to get it.
Yeah, you with your 8 tracks. Your 8 track tape.
I picked up what you were putting down. Don't you worry about. All right, finish up now. Finish up.
Sorry. In any case, I think you can see. I don't know if my name is on here, but if you search True Self Care on TikTok, that's TRUSELF. So True Self, one word, no E, care. You'll find me, and it's like this little light bulb.
You are a light bulb.
You can watch me live stream and make a fool of myself on live stream.
Well, we didn't get. You're certainly not ever going to make a fool of yourself if this is the way you act on live streams. But a light bulb is a great representation of who you are. You're just a great light in the world, and thank you. Mike, it's your show. If I may, I'll just introduce myself and wrap it up and let you say goodbye. How about that? So I'm Chris Maliszewski. It's been an honor.
Yes,
I'm one of the co-founders of the Walking Tall movement. We're an organization whose aim is to inspire all of humanity to be more approachable, vulnerable, and to walk tall in their lives. We're founded through tragedy. 2 mass shooting survivors and a doctor of psychology are here to help others know they're not alone, and that the world's better for them being here themselves. So please scan that QR code. You can find out all the work we're doing through our podcast, our merchandise, like Elia. Hers is better, I'm sure, but help us out if you don't mind. And it's been my honor. So Mike, sign us off if you don't mind, man. I've had enough of talking.
Hey, no, I love it, dude. You know how they call it photobomb when somebody's in the background? I like video, but I just sat here and didn't do anything, and that's why the ratings are high, right? It's because Chris, he's like running NBC. He's to the wire. He made it 8:00. I'm gonna drag it out now. Hey, Chris, thank you for hosting. Appreciate you, man. And by the way, since Chris is old, you can now go put your Doors Day record on the record player and go to sleep soon. So you're good.
Yeah.
And I'll be right there with
Pearl
you.
Jam, come on, you know better, brother. You know better. Come on. if it's not Eddie Vedder, it's not on my radio.
You got it. Well, Elia still is like, Mike's got an 8-track, so I'm not even going to talk
She
to
doesn't
him.
even know who Pearl Jam is. Who are we kidding?
I don't know what an
Oh, no.
8-track is.
Oh,
Is that classic rock now? Is Pearl Jam classic rock now? Oh,
look,
God.
all right, get off. Let's go. Everybody's tired of us already.
Listen,
All right,
I was born
so-
in 2000. I never saw
Don't
the
remind me, I
90s.
graduated in high school then. Move on before I start feeling really old.
Right. You were born when I was in college. All right. So, Chris, thank you, Walking Tall. Thank you for hosting and bringing this together, man. You're all heart. We love what you do. Hey, James Stevens, Brother Storing Profits. Man, thank you for running this. I know you're a busy guy, so much love to you. See us busy popping in anyway. And Dr. Nhu, you are all heart. You're not only brilliant, but you absolutely care about people. And wow, thank you so much. You are all everything. Elia, your story, your courage and your wisdom at 23. I don't even have it at 42. So maybe I need to hang with you and that rub off on me. I love it. And hey, all the people here, Hounds, future Hounds, non-Hounds, all good people. Thank you for bringing this to the table. Thank you for being here. This is what it's about. If you're curious, if you want to learn more about the Hounds, if you might fit in, if it's a good, what is it? I'll always have little calls so I can talk to people. DM me. Okay. DM any of these 3 people right here. And we just want people to be unstuck, period. All right. You're good enough. You're okay. You just need to be around the right people and right support system, man. That's all it is. So if people aren't vibing with you and they don't like what you got to say, chances are it's the wrong people. So find some new people, go out there, get out there, be known. What is this? What are y'all
This-
doing?
Love
This
the
is
heart, Mike.
This is a finger heart.
Oh, that's new. See, we're too old for that, Mike. I'm telling you, please sign off because I'm gonna start learning new stuff. It's gonna make me feel even more old. I'm just learning LinkedIn.
Chris,
Come on, like-
you're so young. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop it.
It's technically
I'm
a
over the hill.
K-pop thing, but it's
All right, Mike, let's go. Let's go. Wrap it up.
Hold on. I'm going to send
I'm
Elia
gonna-
a text message from my rotary dial phone when we hang up here. And then me and you will listen to 8 tracks. All right, so let's round it up. Appreciate everybody. Catch us on the next one. Next
Walk tall.
Wednesday, we'll have a special Mike King. Be good, guys.
Woo-wee.
Love you
Walk
all.
tall.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.